everybody. My name is Amy Felicia. I'm in the Rapid City, South Dakota office. I've been with Bergen KDV since January this year, and I came on by way of the Paystubs company merger. And I've been in this job role for 4 years, and I'm excited that today we're going to talk about the simple profiles. I know that there's going to be at least 2 or 3 things that we talk about that you may not have known already, so that's very exciting.
Great, and I'm Beth Brogan. I've been a payroll support specialist with Bergen KDV for about 7 years. So my name may sound familiar to a lot of you that are on today, but I'm really excited to go over the profiles webinar with you guys. So what I'm going to do, we have up here, we have Jennifer Jones, one of our employees in our test company, or our demo company, I should say. And so I'm going to show you how to get to the simple profiles from here. We're going to click on this tab here. And what that does is that pins the profile up on her main tab here. Some of the profiles we're going to skip over, because today we're going to focus on the most commonly used profiles. If you do have questions on some of the profiles that we do skip over, don't hesitate to reach out to us at payroll@bergenkdv.com, and one of our payroll specialists can help you answer those questions about those profiles. But the first profile I'm going to go over is the access profile. So we see here that Jennifer is assigned the St. Cloud office access profile. But I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and I'm just going to show you each time on every profile, this is how you're going to select which one is appropriate for that employee. So you're going to click on this tab here, or this icon, and you're going to have a selection pertaining to whatever profile you're looking at. So here we have the Rapid City office as a selection and the St. Cloud office as a selection. So we've chosen St. Cloud office. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on this word access here. So that brings us to the profile. And I'm going to click on the St. Cloud office access and just kind of go over how this works a little bit. So what you see here underneath IP range is you see an IP address. So what this is telling us is that Jennifer has this access profile set up. So she is only limited to signing in within the St. Cloud office. If she does sign in outside of the St. Cloud office, she'll get a message saying you must be at the St. Cloud office to access KK. And then I'm going to simply click the back arrow and come back to the simple profiles. And I'm going to show you the accruals. So again, you click on this to find your accrual policy for the employee. And I'm going to click on accruals. So if you want to review whichever policy you have, you will click on the word accruals, the pencil, and then a pencil again. So this is your setup. This is the setup of this accrual policy. So up here we have the anchor date of when the accrual will renew. We have a waiting period. We have a carryover settings. Then we have the schedule, the rate of the accruals that the employee gets. Then we come back. And once the accrual policy is set up for the employee, you'll see an accrual widget. And this is how you're going to track their balances and how much they have taken.
Okay, so we're going to skip over the competency and the demographic. And you can always ask questions about those. We're just not going to cover them today. The next one here we want to look at is holidays. So this one is typically going to have options for someone who's eligible for paid holidays and not eligible for paid holidays. You might even have more options if there is a group of employees that observe the holiday on a different day. For example, like a warehouse group of employees might observe holidays on the actual day, and the office group of employees might observe holidays on a weekday. This profile is really important because it's going to help the system determine when this employee gets holiday worked calculations or the time off to be automatically populated on their timesheets. every time it's running those functions, the system's going to look to this field to determine if this employee gets that holiday pay. The next one is a labor distribution profile. And this profile only has to do with labor distribution reporting. And it's very similar to a GL, but the difference is you can have a GL one way and you'll have labor distribution can be another way. If nothing is in this field, the employee's labor distribution reports is just going to be the exact same as their GL reports. So just to kind of give another comparison, the GL is going to be determined based on the cost center that is on the employee's time entries, on their, which flows through their pay statement. Those all flow through the GL, but the labor distribution profile gives you the ability to set a predetermined distribution beforehand, no matter where they actually worked that day and no matter what they actually did that day. So just to give you kind of a quick view of what that looks like, for the management one here, there is 10% of all this employee's earnings are going to be set to this cost center. 90% of all this employee's earnings are going to be in this cost center. So again, this is just the labor distribution reporting. We have this predetermined allocation set up for this employee.
Okay, I am going to skip leave of absence and onboarding, and I'm going to go to the pay calculation. So here, this is an important profile because you want to make sure that it's set appropriately for what type of employee you have. This is a salaried employee, so we have chosen the salaried pay calculation profile. The other option would be hourly for this one. Here again, I'm going to go over pay period. This is, again, based on how often the employee will get paid. This employee will get paid bi-weekly.
Okay, so the next profile is the performance review. This is going to determine all of those automated items with the performance reviews that are going to happen. So it's going to be, you know, when the next one is scheduled, when the to-do items go out, when the notifications go out, and it's also going to determine when the due dates are for all those items. So in this case, the example we have is the annual review. You might have other frequency choices, or you might have them based on the roles, just depending on your company policy with performance reviews. And the next one here, the PST population, this is just giving, setting up the default items within the pay statement for this employee. So whenever you add a new pay statement for this employee, this is going to just populate a couple items for you automatically. There may be different ones based on their role or based on their pay type. In this case, it's based on pay type. So the system was going to populate for a salaried employee, it's going to populate a salary earning code. For the hourly employee, it's going to populate the regular hours earning code, the overtime earning code, and so on. You can always manually add those items to pay statements whenever you want. This is just a profile that will just kind of populate it automatically for you. We're going to skip over the role profile, and then we're going to talk about security profile. So most commonly, you're going to see this given names based on kind of looks like a role. However, this really, it doesn't have anything to do with the person's role in the company. It's strictly their role in the KPay system. So normally you'll have, if you have a manager that has employees they need to interact with, they need to look at employee timesheets or they need to look at employee performance reviews, you would be giving them a department manager security profile. However, I do want to point out, you might have like a CEO of the company who is not planning to be in the KPay system doing timesheets or payroll or any of those things. You might just give them the employee security profile. And again, it just doesn't mean anything about their role in the company. It has to do with their role in the software when they log in. What functions do they need to be able to do. We are going to circle back on the security profile at the end because there's more pieces to it when we're talking about maybe setting up a new administrator or even a new manager. If they're meant to have visibility of other employees in the system, there's more steps to do. So we're going to just touch on security profile now, and then we're going to circle back.
Okay, I was muted there for a little bit. I don't know why. Sorry about that. The next one I'm going to go over is we're going to skip succession, and I'm just going to go over the timesheet profile. So again, this is based on what type of employee you have. So here we have a salaried employee. The typical timesheet profile for a salaried employee is bulk hours. The other option we have is start-end timesheet. So the difference between the two is bulk hours is just there in case they have time off, spend the time off, and go onto the timesheet or extra pay and things like that. Start-in timesheet has it all opened up where the employee can clock in, clock out, enter time manually as needed because they're an hourly employee. But again, because this is a salaried employee, we have the bulk hours timesheet profile selected.
So the next one going down is the timesheet auto population profile. And this is going to work on the employee's timesheet. So you might see these are the main options. You'll see holidays and schedule, or only schedule. So if you're using scheduling, then you probably are going to be using those scheduling options. If you're not using scheduling at all, you're probably going to see, holidays or no holidays. So if I am someone who should get that automatic time off hours for the holidays, I would want to have the holiday option to tell the system to populate my holidays. But if I'm someone who only gets the holiday worked premium, then I would want the option that does not automatically populate holidays.
Okay, the next one, I'm going to go over this next section. My mouse here. This next section here, they are date affected. So when you make a change to it, you can apply a date to it. Just wanted to point that out. So the next one I'm going to go over is the attestation profile. So an attestation is a confirmation that information is true or accurate. So on the submit timesheet attestation, employees will be prompted to answer a question regarding their timesheet's accuracy. So when an employee submits a timesheet, they will get a question if the information is true or accurate. They will answer yes or no. You can set it up so if they answer yes, they can submit the timesheet, but if they answer no, they'll get a warning and they will not be able to submit the timesheet. This can also be used for when an employee is clocking in and out. So if they're clocking in and they have to answer a question before that clock in is completed, they answer yes and they can complete the clock in. They answer no and they need to either go to another question or a message goes to the manager stating that they answered no to that question for attestation. So here again, you can add another one or you can remove it and then you can add a date of when that change was made. The next one is the benefit profile. So this is important because you either want to have them eligible or not eligible. If you have them eligible and they are supposed to be choosing their benefits online, they won't be able to do that. It needs to say eligible for them to do that. And so it looks like this employee, she started out as not eligible. Then on 1/1/2017, she became eligible for benefits. One other thing that this drives as well is ACA reporting. So if you are using Burden KDB for the ACA reporting, we need to make sure that this benefit profile is selected appropriately so that will go through for them. The dashboard layout, we recommend that you always use a security profile default dashboard. Within the security profile, there is a dashboard setting. So we always recommend to use that. If you do decide to use a different dashboard layout, again, you can just click add and choose another dashboard layout and then put the date of when you made that change. It's kind of good to know to have that date because it lets you know, it kind of gives you an audit right there of when things were changed. All right, then I'm going to go over the pay prep profile. And again, you want to look at the type of employee this is before you pick the appropriate pay prep profile. So we have salaried or hourly. This is a salaried employee, so I want to make sure I'm going to pick the salaried pay prep profile. One thing to note is the pay calculation profile and the pay prep profile work together in the payroll processing. So you want to make sure that they are the same profile or they're profiles that are meant to work together so that the payroll processing works smoothly when you're processing payroll.
Okay, and the last one in the simple profiles section is going to be, or the next one is the time off planning. And this actually just allows the system to keep a number minimum for people that should be working each day. And it might be separated by location or by department or by job role, depending on how you have it set up. So in this case, it's set up based on location. So it's going to have a number of, for example, maybe there needs to be 7 employees every day at the St. Cloud office. And there might actually be 12 employees who work there. So that actually allows for 5 people to have time off on the same day. And if it's reached the minimum and somebody else tries to request time off, the system gives a warning and allows you to avoid giving everybody the same day off and having nobody to work that day.
Okay, the next one here is the employee sync. So this is used if you are a multi-EIN company and you have an employee that's switching to another EIN. So you're going to hire that employee in the other EIN, and you'll see a employee sync button. And during that hiring process, when you click on that sync button, that will sync personal information. In this case, it's personal information only into the new EIN, so you don't have to manually do that. You can pick different ones. You can set it up to do personal information and base compensation, and you can use other ones as well. So if you want to have one of these set up, you just let us know what information you'd like to have synced over. If you are a multi-EIN employer and you have employees that go from one EIN to another, and we can accommodate you and set up the correct profile so that the correct information is being synced over. It's really a nice feature because that way you don't have to manually enter that information. The system's just going to auto-populate that information for you. The next one here is the retirement plan. This is a common question that we get. So if you are setting up a 401k for an employee, and you're finding that the match isn't applying. Hey, I have the 401k deduction, why isn't the match applying? So this is one of our most common questions that we get on our board regarding the retirement plan. And it's basically because the retirement plan profile was not set for this employee. It's left blank. So you always want to make sure that you have this retirement plan set up for the employee. And then you know that when you set up the deduction, their 401k deduction, the match will apply. The match will come out on their, will be applied onto their pay statement. So this is very important for that. And the next one we have here is the work schedule. So this gives you the opportunity of creating schedules for your employees. So here we have an 8-hour Monday through Friday salaried employees work schedule. So I could pick other ones as well, but this one is really designated for the salaried employees. And there's, the sky's the limit. You can have a lot more of these if you want, or you can just have minimal. But it's a nice feature because what it does is it adds a work schedule onto the employee's timesheet. So I'm just going to navigate to her timesheet here real quick, and you can see what it looks like. Detail. See, she has the salaried 8-hour schedule. This also will show up on reports as well, on timesheet reports. And it's nice too if you are keeping track of when employees are coming in early or leaving late. It's really a nice feature to have with your company to do tracking like that.
All right, so we kind of got through most of the simple profiles. I am going to come back to the security profile because the next thing I want to talk about is permissions and visibility in the system. So there's kind of two pieces to it. The security profile gives permissions, that gives the ability that you will have the approve or reject button when you're looking at a timesheet. Or if it's a payroll admin security profile, you will have the button to process payroll. So that's what the permissions are in the system. And then the second piece of that is visibility. So if I'm a payroll admin, I need to have payroll processing permissions, and I need to have visibility of the employees in the payroll before I can process that payroll. So there's two main areas of visibility. It's going to be, there's a restricted version, which is called the manager fields, and that allows you to kind of restrict, I want this person to see some people, but it's only the people in the department. The other area we're going to look at is called groups, and that actually is going to give you the option to give someone a visibility of everybody in the company. So if I'm a hiring manager or I'm the company admin, I have the full access, then I'm going to need to see everybody in the company, regardless of their pay type or their department. So in Jennifer here, we have the manager fields. And in the example, we've got 3 different types of managers. You might only have one manager, or you might have more than this. And we can see that David can see Jennifer through the payroll manager. Lance can see Jennifer as a department manager, and Rachel can see Jennifer as a location manager. And they have different permissions that we've already set up. And you can hover over this and kind of see what the permissions are. The payroll admin here, we can tell there's a view edit base compensation, view edit pay statements. So that's going to allow them to process payroll. Department manager over here is only looking at account information, performance reviews, timesheets, time off requesting. So those are the different ways we can limit the visibility and the permissions when we're talking about employees. So the next area is the groups. And in your settings menu, in the global setup, scroll down to groups and edit. When you get here, you're going to see groups that are based on those manager fields, but you're also going to have a group that is called system, and it's called all company employees. So you may only have just this group. It just depends on your company setup. The all company employees group is the one that's going to give permissions for the entire company. So I'm going to click on view group permissions. And then the next thing I'll do is add a manager. So for our example, we'll just add Jennifer here. And then if you have somebody who's in more than one EIN, you're going to double check that it's the right person. So I'm going to do Jennifer's XYZ company account. And then you're going to just check the box for whatever you want her to have permissions for. So maybe I do want her to see all employees, but I don't want her to edit employees. So then I'll leave that unchecked. Then you've got performance reviews, base compensation, pay statement, and all of those items. So I'm just going to click a couple boxes here just for our example. We'll say maybe she's just doing performance reviews, base compensation, timesheets. And then we'll just turn on the schedule. So in this window here, I have a list of employees within the group, and then I have a list of the group managers. So this is where I'm going to find Jennifer. She's listed here, and then I've also can see Monica's listed here. So that's where you can view any previously added managers. So maybe Jennifer's coming in and Monica's leaving. I can just hit the X to remove Monica's visibility of all company employees. You also could just simply edit. So maybe Monica's not leaving, maybe she's changing roles and she doesn't need to process payroll anymore, but she can still see. So then that's when you would hit the pencil and just update the checkboxes in that permissions. So the last thing I really want to show you is a way to audit these visibility and permissions. And the way to do that is this great report, manager, employees, access. And I've got this filter for Jennifer Jones already. So she is the manager. I'm wanting to look at who can Jennifer see, what can she do with those employees, and what mechanism is giving her permission. So I've got this report set up to show me the group type. So the first group is showing as department manager. And then it shows me the name of the person she can see. And then it gives me the permissions list. So I could even filter to say, okay, I want to see anyone who can, see base compensation. I could search for those terms in this report. Then the other thing it does gives me a group name. So if I scroll down farther, I'm just going to see all the employees in Jennifer's manager group. But we did also add her to the system group. So that is the system group where she can see all employees. Now she has additional permissions. She does have base comp in here. She does have a couple more permissions. And then again, the group name is all company employees. So one of the main ways to use this report, like I said, is to filter for Jennifer, the manager name. You could also come in here and filter for Jennifer as an employee. So I want to know who can see Jennifer. Then I can, I'm going to scroll back up. Lance has department manager visibility. Rachel has her location manager. The payroll admin is David. And then she's actually got visibility of herself because she is in the all system group. So that really is all we wanted to point out with the groups and the profiles. I think now we have some time for questions.
All right, thank you. We did get one question here. If anyone does want to send any questions while we're live today, feel free. The question that we got on the Access profile, does it limit what they can do on the mobile app?
Not really. The answer to that. The mobile app is used because you can log in with your phone or your not your phone, but your mobile device via cell signal, or it doesn't really limit. You can't really limit where you're accessing on your cell phone. So there is a Access profile in here, and within the Access profile, there is allow mobile access. What this does is allows the employee to log in to your URL with a cell phone or a tablet, but it doesn't affect, it really doesn't have anything to do with the mobile app. The mobile app is a whole nother thing that you would use to access KK.
Great, thank you. Another one coming in here. Somebody did ask about the recording. Yes, we will be sending that out after. And then kind of in addition to that, Beth and Amy, somebody was asking if there is kind of a cheat sheet or more of a written documented format of some of these items. Is that available that we could send out?
I'm not aware of one.
I'm not aware of that either. So
I think we could put one together.
Yeah, we could create one.
That sounds good. That sounds like it might be helpful, more of like a step-by-step guide maybe. That's a great idea. Thanks for submitting that.
Yeah.
And then one other one here, might some things not be set up for our company? I can kind of chime in with that one. Yeah, like Beth and Amy kind of said at the very beginning, if there are certain things that you don't have set up like this profile here that you're looking at, feel free to send a support ticket to payroll@bergenkdv.com, and they'll kind of help you go through that to make sure you have all the settings and everything you need. With that, that is all the questions that I see coming in here live. Oh, we do have one more that just popped up here as I said that. Is there a way to test that the manager access works once you have it set up?
Yeah, good question. I really like that report we were just looking at. It does help you audit what is set up. So one thing, so let me go back here just to kind of refresh. So settings menu, global setup, scroll down to the groups and manager employees access. You could also just type manager employees access in the search bar. But this is to verify how you have it set up. So I want to make sure I set Jennifer up correctly. So can she see Lance would be what I'm checking on. So, okay, yep, she can see Lance. These are the things she can do with Lance. And one note on this is the system sometimes has a little bit of a lag. Like it could be that maybe I set this up with a new manager, but they don't actually see the employees when they log in for maybe 10 minutes. That's the longest I've ever seen a lag. So if you come across, like maybe you set someone up yesterday and this report is telling you everything's right, then and then they still can't see the employees, then in that case, I would maybe open a support ticket and see if maybe there's something else preventing it. But typically, as long as you have the security profile set up and the group or the manager field, then that's all you need. You need the permissions and you need the visibility.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like we don't have any other questions coming in here. Do you guys have anything you'd like to say in closing?
Yeah, just thanks for signing up for this webinar. We really enjoyed going over this with simple profiles, and I hope you guys learned a lot. If you have any questions, let us know. But yeah, we had fun preparing for it. So
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And then as a reminder, we will be sending out the recording here. In addition to that, once the webinar ends, you'll get a short survey here. And if you don't mind filling that out, we always love to know how we're doing, or there is a spot that you can even enter additional questions that you have there, or if there's maybe topics that you'd love to see covered in future webinars, we'd love that information as well. With that, we will let you all head out a little bit early here, but thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
bye.